live meditation. Well, sorry, start again. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our daily online live meditation with McLean Meditation Institute. We gather here for the last couple of weeks live every day. And my name is Suzi von Mensenkampff. I'm a teacher with McLean Meditation Institute. I'm on the faculty and a course advisor. And I'm also a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, and Ayurveda consultant. So I am passionate about meditation, and every day I look at a book and take a few minutes while people are joining the call. And this week, the book that we've been looking at is one of Sarah's books, her last book, called The Power of Attention, Awaken to Love. And in chapter 2, what I think is fabulous, it's basically, just to catch you up if you haven't been with us, it's looking at, what we pay attention to and seeing attention as our currency. And it's really powerful. The practices that can improve the quality of your attention are obviously what we're doing today, which is a meditation practice, but also breathing practices and mindfulness practices also help to train your attention by training you to keep coming back into the present moment. So in chapter 2, I've been reading about the personal part, Sarah's return from India, but also about what she says in terms of how do we train our attention, what's actually happening, and what she talks about the brain science part. And I'm fascinated by the brain science because these practices are having a direct effect on your brain. So whatever you choose to put your attention on is having an impact on your brain. So if you're looking a lot towards anxiety and negativity and feeling really, really stressed, you could be hardwiring your brain for stress. So there's a part of your brain which we call the amygdala, which is connected to your fight or flight response. And if this is constantly being activated, it's releasing all these stress hormones into your system. And people have talked about feeling like their attention is being hijacked by the current, there's so much live coverage and news, and we do need to keep informed, but it can become quite overwhelming. And you might notice that you're feeling that intensity in your physical body when that activation of the amygdala is happening and you're in that state of fight or flight. So to develop more resilience, you have to keep refocusing, which is why we come on the call today, to shift from that state and to settle that sympathetic nervous system and bring it into a state of what we call rest and digest. So you have a choice as to what you're looking at, because if you look at more positive stories and look at the positive aspects of what's happening, like people helping each other out, and like people like Sarah buying hair dye for all the ladies in the nursing home, there's a lot of positive stories and inspiring things that are happening. And you can also hardwire your brain for the positive and the more inspiring parts. And so what happens is you will activate more of the hippocampus, which is the gray matter in the brain. So there's been numerous studies, and I could talk to you for hours about the studies about the brain and the benefits of meditation. But, we could be talking about it all day, but I know that it'll actually happen for you if we do it. So we're going to do it. But it's good to know, it's good to have that kind of background information too, because it helps to reaffirm our commitment and help us to start paying attention to that accumulation of stress in the system and that feeling of being in that sort of fight or flight and feeling powerless by it because you're stuck at home, and that you're actively choosing now to come into the state. So something that I noted here was this: if you feel anxiety rising in your, and you're beginning to become more hardwired for anxiety, which is very prevalent at the moment, you can just regularly taking long, slow, deep breaths. Deep breathing will actually regulate that. I was just reading about it there online. So it'll regulate your nervous system so that you do not become hardwired, for anxiety. So we're going to really look at that, refocusing our attention back over the course of this practice. You can take any parts of this practice out and apply them in your day-to-day as you're going about it. So now I've talked enough, and we're up to 44 people. I reckon we should get started. And every day we begin by getting comfortable, because comfort is key. And then just checking in with our physical body, how we're sitting, how we feel, if we're holding any stress or tension. Let's scan your body now. Just make sure your legs aren't crossed, or you're not sitting there, with your arms crossed tight. Just notice, are you holding your shoulders up? Pull your shoulders up to your ears for a second, and then let them drop down. Really give yourself a really good stretch. And that's why we do a lot of yoga. We do the yogas to prepare the body to be able to sit still in meditation. So from here, once you feel settled and comfortable, I invite you to start to do what we call pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses. So we'll bring into mind each of the 5 senses now, and we'll withdraw our attention from that stimulus as we draw our attention inward. So begin with the sense of touch. Feel where your feet touch the floor, your hands are touching your lap, maybe your thighs, or on your knees. Feel where your seat is connected to the chair that you're sitting on. Maybe your back is being supported. Just feel the connection between the back of your body and whatever is supporting you. And then once we feel comfortable, let's withdraw that sense of touch now. Become aware now of the sense of taste. So to do this, we'll just softly close our mouth and begin now to breathe through the nose for the practice, if it's comfortable to do so once your nose isn't blocked. You might notice that you're swallowing a little bit. So again, you're just withdrawing all of the senses now, one by one, becoming aware next of the visual stimulus around you, and knowing that by closing your eyes or capping your eyelids, you're withdrawing from that stimulus. Feeling safe and secure with your eyes softly closed. Become aware now of all of the sounds around you. And I like to listen out and hear what's the sound furthest away. Then gradually start to move that awareness inward. The sounds in the room, in the building. The sound of my voice, the sound of your breath. As you gradually move your awareness inward, withdrawing the sense of sound. And the last one we'll focus on is the sense of smell. Just breathing through your nose, notice any familiar sense of your room. Maybe the detergent you washed your clothes in, your shower gel, or any perfumes that you wear. Maybe the smell of any cooking in the air, or if you have the window open, the smell coming in from outside. Just noticing all those familiar things and the wave of information that comes through the nose. And having the intention now just to release that stimulus for the next 20 minutes to half an hour. And now just notice the breath, where it meets your body and where it enters. Keeping your attention back to the point where your breath meets your body, and with each inhale, just notice the qualities of your breath in its natural state. Notice if your breath is loud or faint, thready or uneven. Simply as it is, observe now. The qualities of your breath. Notice the temperature of your breath. Is it warm or cool? And notice the space that your breath occupies within your physical body. The gentle movement of your physical body as the breath moves in and out. Tucking your chin in slightly and lengthening the back of your neck. I invite you all now to take a long, slow, deep breath in together. And imagine on this inhale, you're filling up your belly like blowing up a balloon. And when it's full, just see that, feel and experience the full release of this exhale as you breathe out slowly, steadily out, all the way out through your nose. And then return to your natural breath. If you wish to visualize each breath now as it goes in, you can give your breath a color as you follow your breath. Following it all the way down, and imagine now it's going all the way down into the center of your chest, down into your belly. Belly is rising as you inhale. And then just notice the subtle movement, and maybe the color will change on each exhale. And with each of these conscious breaths that we're taking now, just trusting that it's shifting your internal state as you activate the state of restful awareness. So we're in a restful state, we're aware, we're breathing. And just notice the settling down of your whole physiology. And just that mental settling down as well. Maybe your mind is beginning to settle a little. Breathing in, down into your belly. And then breathing all the way out. Really consciously breathing now for the next minute or so. And see if you can observe the pauses between the inhale and each exhale. And now I'm going to invite you to bring in the mantra Soham as you're doing the breathing practice. So silently saying to yourself on each inhale the word or sound of so. So breathing in for so. And then as you breathe out, just silently hear, feel, or imagine the word hum. So on the inhale and hum on the exhale for the next minute or so. So on the inhale and hum on the exhale. And now I invite you to release the conscious breathing and allow your breathing to become natural and automatic again. But continue with the silent repetition of the mantra so, hum, without trying to connect it to your breath. The breath is natural. And now you're beginning the silent repetition of so, hum, so, hum, so, hum. And we'll continue like this for a few more minutes. I'm watching the time. And however your attention may drift away, just keep coming back to so, hum. And release now the repetition of the Soham mantra, continuing to sit easy with your eyes closed. Drawing your awareness to the center of your chest, to your heart. And just feel the connection within your heart. Feel the coherence in your heart as it reverberates with the qualities of love and compassion. And from this loving and compassionate place, I invite each of you to set an intention for yourself today. It's a personal intention. Anything that you would like to see fulfilled in your life or in the world. So to set this intention, we say it in a present tense, positive, short sentence, ideally beginning with I am. So the Soham mantra means I am. So we've been really connecting in with our own personal energy today. And we're sealing this practice by creating a beautiful intention just for ourselves. But it can include anybody. So I am peaceful. I am kind. I am connected. Anything that you wish. Once you have it in your mind, let's draw your hands together in front of your heart, gently pressing the thumbs towards the chest, and silently repeat this intention, this personal intention for yourself 3 times. And let's all share our personal intention in the support of everybody on this call who's practiced with us today. So the energy of the whole group is coming together behind each individual's intention for today. So feel that connection, feel the support of everybody on the call today as it connects up, remembering that all of our brains now are wiring together in this moment, and they're firing together. And just feel the beautiful connection with the collective energy for a few moments as we bring our practice to a close. Taking these few minutes now just to integrate everything. And as we integrate the practice, I invite you to take a long, slow, deep breath in, and you can release your hands and take a big stretch. Extending your hands out into the room, maybe your legs, your feet, stretch out through your toes, through your fingers. And then as you exhale, bringing the hands back down onto your lap. Taking all the time that you need before gently coming back into your full awareness of the space you occupy, of your physical body. And when you feel ready, you can look around at all the beautiful people that have shared the space with us. We had 48 people on the call up to a few moments ago, and it's a lovely collective. I hope you're all feeling quite yummy. And just being aware that you've made this choice to come to the practice each day, or if today is your first day, and knowing that, the science is backing this up. Google neuroplasticity after this call and come back and tell us what you learned. It's really fascinating what happens, So that's what I love about learning with Sarah, because all of the teachers learn brain science and we really have to learn it, and it's a really powerful thing to, by the experience it feels yummy, but then when you read about how our brains actually work and wire and fire, It's very important, especially at this time. So let's not become hardwired for anxiety and stress. Let's become hardwired for loving kindness and compassion, because we're just moving our state back in here all the time. So if anybody would like to share anything, I'd love to hear from you. Please unmute yourself. I'm just seeing what's in the chat.
Hi, Susie. How are you? Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, but I got something extra valuable today. Because I've been reading lots of different meditations. I listen to yours online and I do a lot of other ones. And something that was been a struggle for me, not in yours, and just ones I've been reading and listening to. Don't fret, I'm not using the right words, but with what you can't control. Like, and I took it more, don't be upset about all the things going on around you, which is horrible, because you can't control it. And then I would get internally angry that isn't right. We have to be upset about what's going on. Until I had this meditation, and at the end, my intention was to put that to good use and be more creative about what I can do to not be upset rather than just not dealing with it because I can't control it. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but I was really struggling up till then. I think Nancy, my friend, is on the call, and I might have mentioned it to her. Hi, Nancy. And it's a struggle when I hear people say, don't, in meditations, live in the present, don't worry about what you can't control. When there's all this horrible stuff going around. And I have a hard time with that. I don't know if I'm not understanding it properly, maybe.
No, I think you're quite clear, because you know it's kind of a bit ridiculous to tell people, you know, don't think about that, like ignore what you can't control, because okay, maybe there are certain things that are out of our control right now. There's a lot of uncertainty for sure. So we have to embrace the wisdom of that uncertainty, you know. It's how you let it affect you, I think, is really what it's about. So I'm totally present. I'm totally seeing what's happening. I'm following the news and reading the statistics. However, how I feel about it, like I can change my state from getting into the big story about it and becoming overly anxious and you know, it all feeling overpowering and you know, really limiting me in terms of, like, if you get too anxious, I think you can end up just feeling just like absolutely frozen in
I feel like
this situation.
it's almost like I don't have the right to be happy or even enjoy my solitude. It's, you know, I feel selfish in that regard. When so many people are sick and suffering and struggling and doing all this fabulous stuff to help me stay safe. You know, it's almost a feeling of guilt that I shouldn't be okay. You know, I shouldn't be okay in my own, I don't want to go on, I'm going to everybody else's time up, but a lot of the meditations say to do that.
Go ahead, Kurt.
This is Kurt with a thought for Ellen.
Thank you.
Something that I've shared with my kids, and I have to refocus on it just as we do in meditation. They are all young adults from 30 to 40. And so they're working their careers and living life and forming their family values and that. And the way I expressed it to them is, the less invested we are in a specific outcome, the more accepting we are of what the outcome is. And so sort of having a mindfulness that we can work hard towards something, but perhaps not be angry or upset because we didn't reach the goal. We simply got close to it. And I don't know if that helps in a situation, but I thought I would at least share that.
No, I appreciate that. It's like almost like with meditation, don't have expectations. for the outcome. Live in what you can do.
Yes, and we all hear stories of it took 40 years for someone to become famous, and they just worked at it and worked at it. This flies in the face of that, but I think more of us don't achieve the perfect thing that we would like to, and so it's just a gentle way to accept mediocrity or accept what happened and be happy that we moved the needle halfway towards where we wanted it.
Thank you. That's really great. I appreciate it.
Thank you too.
May I add to the?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Today's the first day of Passover, and so freedom from guilt and original innocence is a lifelong practice for me and for many kindred spirits. And so my word is shalom, om, shalom, which means hello, goodbye, and peace. So I am very grateful and offering freedom from guilt because we wandered in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights and we're free. So this time of celebrating the now is such a blessing, and I'm grateful to each of you for listening and presencing. Shalom.
Shalom back.
Shalom. Thank you. I was going to invite Sue Cooper, who's on the call, who's a real expert in self-care, and I was wondering, Sue, would you share about what you know about that coherence when we come together as a collective and we change that state? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, well, thank you for saying I'm an expert. I'm continually learning, but the power of the collective. I come from this because I've been fascinated in from a nursing perspective for 40 odd years as the power to self-heal. And over the years we got very into the cure model, which is fabulous, with medications and surgeries, and we're going back now to look at the self-care model of self-healing. And I know I'm moving slightly off from the original topic, Susie, but we're opening these Nightingale hospitals here in the UK now, which are these long wards with a small corridor, then another long ward, and it reminds me of a Florence Nightingale quote that was embedded into me in the 70s as I was a trainee, which said that the role of the nurse is to put the patient in the best possible condition so that nature can act and healing occur. And just going back to the very beginning of healing and people coming together to offer care and compassion and consideration and healing all takes time. And patience, you're called a patient because you need to be patient for healing to occur over time, is this cocooned in love and compassion that is given to others. And we're seeing this within our health service now. We can't offer a cure for this because there isn't one, but there is the self-healing. And when we come together in a collective and raise the vibration of the condition in which we heal, which is love and care and compassion, and we come together and do this, it's amazing what happens. We know this, don't we? It's just, this is simply reminding ourselves of this power that we have when we come into the coherence of heart-based living, of loving kindness. So I hope that maybe answers a little bit of the question. It's such a vast subject, but it's the self-care. We start with self, and Susie said yesterday or the day before about putting our mask on to feed ourselves, and remembering that the heart has the coronary arteries around the outside. It pumps blood round, but the coronary arteries around the outside the first blood that comes out of the heart before it goes into the body goes into the coronary arteries to feed the muscles of the heart. Otherwise, it cannot do its job. So it's remembering, you know, the heart cares for itself first. To the body, we care for ourselves first because we cannot give out otherwise. And the way that we care for ourselves and our heart cares for itself is through that raised vibration of love, care and compassion. So I hope that's maybe just added a little something to the mix. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that, Sue, because I think, you know, maybe just reframing feeling guilty about being safe and being well and looking after yourself. Just reframe that, because it really is, as Sue said, it begins and it ends with us. And so we won't add to the statistics if we stay healthy, you know, and if we all support each other by coming together every day. And Brian Lerman, who, I love your t-shirt, Brian, I love that Batman t-shirt. He says, he wrote this quote from an anonymous source, I believe: all that depresses you, all that you fear, is really powerless to harm you. These things are but phantoms. That's beautifully put, Brian, I think, and appreciate you sharing that. So, you know, we just have to keep reframing that state and keep showing up every day, keep doing your practice, and become hardwired for, you know, restful awareness and kindness and compassion, and really keep boosting your immune system. And, you know, we've got to all keep coming and showing up for each other and supporting each other. So I'm really grateful that you're all here every day, most of you, and anyone who's new, we welcome you to join us every day and just keep coming back. And that's really it, you know, seeing where you're putting your attention and the quality of that attention. You know, just observe, you know, whatever we put our attention on, whether it's negative or positive, that's what we're going to be hardwired for that. So you get to choose, nobody else, just you choose for yourself. So on that beautiful note, I thank you all immensely for sharing with me today. And oh geez, I never stopped the recording. I get killed. Okay, there you go. That's that part done.